Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Rob Moore Show podcast. This podcast is brought to you by All Star Sports Bars, the only premier sports bar in the southwest of England. All sports, all games, all stars. This week on the podcast we have Benny Howell from Gloucestershire County Cricket Club. We talk about his county championship run this year, his T20 success and all his hopes for the future. So, without further ado, here he is. Here is Benny Howell. Okay, Benny, how we doing?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Just
Good.
Change that slightly. So you hear yourself now?
Yeah,
Awesome.
just.
Cool. So I did a bit of looking on the internet about your sort of stuff. I've got to say that the stats are pretty, particularly in the shorter format, pretty big stats going on there. It's 92 wickets, average of 19.10. 6.89 economy. That's some pretty mad stats for that sort of format. Nasser Hussain, you probably hear it quite a lot, but Nasser Hussain sings your praises on a pretty regular basis for Sky. What do you put that mainly down to? Your success?
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment.
Oh,
yeah.
I love the T20. It's fun, and especially when it comes to like guys trying to take you down, hit you for six, and I love that. I love the battle, and I think all the variations I can use to stop them doing that. I think that's sort of what helps me sort of stay motivated, and I think that's probably why the success is there.
So you mentioned your variations. Do you find is that something that you adapted yourself, or more sort of like coaches have sort of encouraged you to do, or is it something that comes naturally?
Not coaches, no, because all the coaches are sort of old school. There's a few good ones, but no, not in terms of that. I like thinking outside the box, so I sort of got certain variations from baseball. I love watching baseball, and they use a lot of change-ups there for the pitchers, so I sort of played around with a few things.
Do they do the knuckleball?
The knuckleballs, one of their main pitches. They actually hold it slightly. They hold it in their nails, but I hold it in actually my knuckles. But they call it the knuckleball. And
one thing I noticed from watching you play is that you always hide in the ball. So sorry, I hid my voice from the microphone there. You just hide the ball the whole way down. Is that something you did naturally, or do you think it is?
I had to think about that.
Yeah.
Because I tried gripping as I'm running in. If I wasn't to hide the ball and change my grip last minute, it just didn't work for me. Okay. So I like to get a nice good grip before I start my run up. Because
Sid was saying on the last podcast that's something that Andrew Ty does.
Yeah.
He'll just
flips it back.
Flip it into the knuckle. Is that just super hard?
It is hard. He's got a bit of pace on him, so in terms of his knuckleball, if his knuckleball doesn't come out quite right, it's still pretty decent because his pace difference is pretty good. Whereas if I don't get my knuckleball right, because my pace isn't right up there at 85 miles an hour, I find that I need to actually get a proper grip to get the knuckleball perfect, so then it actually moves in the air. So that's why I have to sort of grip it and hide it beforehand, so I get a good grip of it before.
So we started on the T20, so let's stay on that. What's your best moment from those T20s for you? You've had many of them from the stands, but your personal, what do you think?
It's tough because we've sort of got to quarterfinals twice since I've been here. But we were sort of unsuccessful with that. So in terms of team-wise, we sort of struggled to get to finals day, which is our aim. But personally, I think I got a double wicket made in Cheltenham against, I think it was Hampshire. I think that was a nice moment. I think
that's your former club, isn't it, Hampshire?
Yeah, former club. My family from Australia were there, so that was a nice sort of. That was a nice day.
Nice moment. Yeah. We talk about the T20s as a sort of a game, but as an experience for the fan, there's something completely different. I mean, I talked with Sid, obviously, in the last one about the Somerset games. Are they often a highlight in your calendar when Somerset come to Bristol, or you go down to Taunton?
I'd rather them come to Bristol, I think.
Yeah.
I'd rather stay in Bristol than come to us. But yeah, especially when the stands are up for the internationals, and they keep them up for those games, so they don't really packs out and gets, I don't know, 11 to 13,000, I think. So. And then the rivalry is great. I mean, when I first went to Gloucestershire and I played in the Somerset game, most of the fans at Bristol were actually Somerset fans.
It's strange.
But, however, the last year or two, I have to say, there's a lot more Gloucestershire fans now over the Somerset fans in Bristol. So
I always remember that game when Chris Gale was in their lineup, and it was just the most crazy game, I think, start to finish. Did you play in that one? I can't remember.
I think the boss. They call him the boss, don't they?
It was great. I love that game. So that's T20. So you only came into the Red Bull stuff sort of the end of last year. Is that just a personal thing, or is that something that the coaches would rather you play white ball? I only ask this because obviously a lot of cricketers recently have come out. Alex Hales and Rashid have said that they just want to play the white ball stuff going forward. Is this what's your views on this?
It was more personal. I think I was getting quite a few bit niggles here and there, and I didn't really want to sort of play a lot of 4-day cricket and bowl a lot of overs to potentially make me injured for the white ball. So in that sense, it was. However, I did want to start playing 4-day cricket again, but more of a batter who bowls in the 4-day cricket.
Yeah, okay.
So then it was sort of a whole new light to them.
And they put you up to open straight away. Do you enjoy that?
Eventually, which I did.
Yeah. I can remember speaking to Colonel last summer, and he was saying how you were probably going to open in that game, and that's a big thing to do. Is that something you wanted to do, or are you more comfortable down in the middle order?
I started my career as an opener at Hampshire. First class game, I opened for Hampshire and came to Gloucester. I batted 3 and opened, and then bowling only came into it later on.
So that's something you developed very recently, like over the past sort of
last 4 years is bowling. Really,
Yep.
that's what's developed. Before I wasn't really a bowler, so I sort of had to work on that. And then it almost table turns. I became a bowler who bats, and now I think I'm getting that balance again.
So I had a few questions from. I said I was doing a podcast with you to the message boards, and they said a few questions. So there were quite a few asking about if you fancy. Are you going to be doing more 4-day stuff going into the new season?
I certainly will.
Yeah. So what, from the start or up for selection straight away?
Yeah, I'm up for selection.
I think that's great news for everyone, because they said the general consensus was that everyone went to Cardiff for that game, said that your 100 was pretty magnificent. How was that feeling?
I played a few shots.
Yeah.
I think DeLanger, he bowled 90 plus, and I just got my adrenaline going. I just wanted to take him down. So
how is that?
Paid off.
I come from playing club cricket. When I'm bowling against Dross at my head at 40 miles per hour, I couldn't imagine facing 90 miles per hour bowling. It's just split second in your head, just boom, because it leaves the hand, and sooner
it's
you know.
I think for me, I love it because actually I don't have to think about too many things. I'm actually more scared of the little dibbly dobblers like Stevens, Darren Stevens, and all those. Are nightmare bowlers. But I mean, when they're bowling on their day, the 90 mile an hour bowlers is scary. But when you get a chance to get on top of them, it's great. Yeah.
So you had a little detour during the off season. You weren't doing training at home. You went over to the Khulna Titans in Bangladesh. So you went there last season as well. Went there this season.
Mm-hmm.
Only played one game. Is that right? What was that about, man?
I don't know. We had 13 overseas players in our squad at one point.
What?
Yep. Every single one of them, apart from myself, had played international cricket. So I mean, even though
Maxi was in that team.
Maxi was there. He had obviously just played a few T20s. He was there. He didn't get in every game.
What?
Yeah, I know. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so I was disappointed not to play more, because I feel like I should still be in the side regardless of.
Because you had a really good season there, didn't you? The season before, you played. How many games did you play in that season?
I think about half the tournament, but that was about all right, because they still had a number of overseas then.
You did quite well.
Did decent. Yeah, it was pretty good. But
so now,
yeah,
I read a article on WordPress. I don't know if you've seen it. No, but it's talking about discontent behind the scenes at Gloucestershire CCC.
Right, okay.
It's saying how there are a few players out of contract at the end of the season. Is there any truth to it? Is saying how like there's generally...
I don't know.
Can you see this one? So, because you're losing, obviously, I'm not sure if you know anything about Michael Klinger this year or anything like that.
No, I don't know that.
But there's generally all happy. What I was trying to gauge from this, I don't want to get into particulars, but just sort of like I just wanted to pretty much abolish the fact that there is discontent. You know.
No, I don't think there is.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought. I think it's like looking at it myself. It seems like.
I don't. Why is there a picture of Chris Lynn there?
But apparently, Gloss have reportedly tried to throw money at Chris Lynn
Well, I
This
wouldn't
is what
know
it
that.
says. No.
I don't know. He's
No.
injured, isn't he?
That I'm aware, yeah.
I think
But,
I don't know.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to gather from that. It was a question from Philip Baker on Facebook, so I thought I'd just put that in.
No, I don't think the articles.
No,
Well, from what I see, I don't know anything about it.
yeah,
I
of
don't know.
course. I
Yeah.
just wanted it. I just
Players
wanted to
are
know
out-
what the general feeling is.
Well, players
but,
are out of contract every year.
yeah.
There's always players out of contract, but as far as
Glad we could hold a KMB though. That was great. Yeah, that Somerset
Big
game
Kieran.
last year. That was so good.
yeah, we love him around.
Yeah.
He's great in the dressing room. Yeah, but he's a big. When he gets going, he can go.
Yeah.
He just wants. I think just if you can show it a few more times, he showed it in the Somerset game. And I'm sure he will this
Big
season.
hits, man.
And
Those.
he can hit him. He just needs to. I think we just let him go. Let him be free.
Is that something in your arsenal? Do you class yourself as sort of? That's all right. Do you class yourself as a sort of big hitter or more sort of
Nah, hitter.
placement hit?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
When I need to do both. Yeah.
And is
One or
that we mentioned earlier about sort of instinct and stuff like that, instinct in batting. When you're doing those bid shot, is it a little bit premeditated at all?
Can be. Yeah. I mean, I think if you're just trying to hit it out of the ground, you're generally just trying to see the ball and hit the ball, and wherever the ball is, you want to hit it. I think that's the best way to be. I mean, there's certain shots you've got to play that's premeditated, like the reverse sweep and the dinks. But when you're power hitting, I think you're thinking about power hitting, but you obviously have to adapt to where the ball is.
Cool. So we mentioned about that you started your career at Hampshire, but I was a bit, because obviously I did a bit of research. I was a bit surprised to see that you were born in France.
Yeah.
You're French national or
Ooh.
no?
No, his parents lived there.
Yeah.
Brother was born in France.
Yeah.
I moved over when I was 2. So.
You got a brother as well. Does he play cricket as well?
He did as a kid, but
Okay.
he's in America right now.
Okay, cool. What's he doing over there?
Actually, he was a professional golfer.
Okay.
Quit that, and now he plays a sport called Royal Tennis.
Royal Tennis.
Yeah, there's one in Bristol. It's like an old ancient sport. It's like where tennis originated from. Yeah, it's have a look. Royal Tennis.
Royal Tennis.
Look it up.
I'll have a look. I'll have a look.
Royal Tennis. There's one at Lords. The court opposite the pavilion at Lords.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. It seems like it's
different.
You say
It's a family thing. Yeah.
You say Royal Tennis. It sounds a bit like
Royal,
it's
yeah,
for
of
the
course. Yeah.
for the toffs.
We
of the
call it
world,
real tennis. When I say real, people
Yeah.
don't know it. They think you mean tennis or
Real.
yeah. No. So real tennis or Royal Tennis. Yeah.
I love it when people put real before things. Like
Yeah.
Real Ale.
It's
as
real.
opposed to that fake ale
Yeah.
that everyone's
Exactly. They want to claim it first, I think.
So you're born in France. How did the cricket stuff come out? Did they play it much over there? Or?
Dad, no. Well, in France, no. My dad's from England. Mum's from Australia.
Okay.
But we moved to England when I was 2. Well, back to England.
Yeah.
And so I sort of grew up in England near Reading, actually. So
Okay.
my dad, I lived in a school, so he ran the sports centre there, where the real tennis court was there because he does it as well. And I watched all the sort of the first team of the school there play. I always walked down and play cricket, and my dad played a bit of cricket, so just stuck really.
And where did this sort of because there goes from being a hobby like cricket is my hobby. So I play a bit in the summer. But when did it come from being a hobby that you played outside your normal life to right? I want to make this my career now.
From when I could remember, 3 years old.
Really?
I remember walking around school asking everyone, even the girls at school, what do they want to do when they're older?
Yeah.
And if they didn't say sport, which I didn't know it was cricket, but I knew it was it being a professional sportsman. I was amazed that they didn't say that. It's like, surely that's what you want to do.
Yeah,
surely.
yeah.
But that was my belief. So I always wanted to become a sportsman. And cricket, I guess I got injured. I played a lot of rugby, and I got injured at 16, 15, a knee operation, and then that made my decision. I went to cricket.
What was that knee? It was I just had a old injury in the knee.
Yeah,
sorted out.
it's like I had knee surgery, pins put into.
Oh,
I
really?
can't remember the name of it, but yeah, it was.
I just had a bit of Osgood Schlatters, but
I'm not sure the name.
No.
Yeah, it was, but it fixed me, I think, for
did
cricket anyway, not for rugby.
not for rugby. Is it just?
I'm quite glad I didn't choose rugby.
What was your position when you played rugby? What
fly
did you-
half, of course.
Fly half.
Yeah,
Big kicker then.
yeah.
Any things you can take over from rugby into cricket? I suppose the teamwork
It's tough, isn't it? It's very
totally
different.
Yeah, very different sport.
Team unity is always a big thing in all sports, but yeah, that's about it.
I would say, like from my experience, rugby and cricket have the best sort of out of the pitch atmosphere in terms of sort of like socials and the drinking.
It's not aggressive.
No, it's just
generally.
Yeah,
apart from the Somerset, Gloucester game.
I think I said this on the last one, but Peter Trago came to and speak at my club dinner this year, and then I mentioned about the Somerset game, and he said that some reason he was standing at mid-off, and then suddenly this bloke's car keys just turned up next to him. Like this bloke just wanted to lob.
It's amazing. Why would you want to lose your car keys?
To which I said, could I have them back, please? It's been stuck on Neville Road for about a year.
Oh dear.
Very funny, very funny. So you moved back over here when you were like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Did Hampshire scout you from a club side? Or?
No, I played for Berkshire in the minor county as a kid growing up. And then, there was a few counties when I was about 15 to go in the academy.
Okay.
I had a choice between a few, and Hampshire had a great setup with the Rose Bowl then. It's now Aegeus Bowl, but that's who I decided to go with through the academy. And how was your experience there? I loved it. It was a great experience. I think family moved to Australia when I was about 16, 17, so I was sort of, from there I was sort of on my own. So I just learnt a lot through the guys there. I was probably a bit naive. I actually made some bad mistakes at Hampshire, which ended up costing me my job in the end there. That's how I actually came to Gloucester.
So in terms of coming into Gloucester, were you straight away into sort of contention
so it was actually,
teams, or?
What happened is I had a 2-year contract on the table at Hampshire, and I mucked up. I was late a few times. I had a few bad ticks, and I went on holiday during the season without thinking, being immature really, I think, at the end of the day. So I had a season in Australia, came back. I was trying to get a few counties. They had already signed a lot of their players already, so all their quota was done. So I actually had Dave Fulton as my agent back then. He decided to speak to John Bracewell, and it was pretty positive. But then after a few weeks, John wasn't getting back to him, so he ended up picking me up from, I was back in Hampshire, just living in my flat, driving me up to Oxford Parks where they played their pre-season game, Gloucester, and just seeing John Bracewell on the bench. We went and sat down next to him and just said, look, I want to play, I'll be good. And he appreciated that because John was always sort of left field like that. So he gave me a gig in the second team. I got a pair. I was like, oh my goodness, I just want to give up.
Up to the best of it, man. Up to the best of it.
And this is like right at the start of the season. And then...
you want a golden though, was it?
One gold and one just normal duck.
Oh, that's all right then. There's not a golden pair then, you're all right.
Wasn't great. And then the next game, I still playing the next game again. It was a Surrey second team, and I got a double 100.
Yeah.
Opening the batting. And then the very next day, I didn't finish the 3-day game there. They're playing Canterbury, Kent, the first team. I think it was like the second or third game of the season. I don't know what year it was, 2000.
Oh, so this was the first team, sorry.
Yeah. So then my first game was in Kent, Canterbury, and then I played every game since then.
How's that for a ground? I've never been there.
Canterbury?
Yeah.
It's a big slope. I don't mind it personally. It's not too bad. There's
on the pitch itself?
Oh, big slope, yeah. That's why Darren Stevens does so much damage there. He
I
bowls
suppose
swinging away with the slope, but the slope goes in, so he's someone nipping it in, going away.
He's got to have hit the biggest shot I've ever seen at Gloss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know the middle flat, top window, literally. Like I've seen Maxi get it through the gaps.
He hit it,
but literally.
Who did he hit?
Huh? That's gonna bug me. I want to say KMB, but I'm not sure.
Sure, it's him.
Yeah, Darren Stevens. Remember this?
So I remember Luke Wright hitting a big one.
Yeah, well, that was a big day. Yeah, it was, and that was. Where was that game too? Yeah, crazy man. That's the biggest hit. But yeah, Canterbury, big slope, crazy.
Big slope, yeah.
So you came to Gloss, second team into first team. So when did you sort of? You mentioned that your personal thing is so you were playing more 4-day stuff, and then was it just niggles in your body that said should sort of start slowing down on the 4-day stuff, focus on the white ball? I
was sort of getting into a role I didn't want to get into with 4-day cricket.
You were batting like 5 or 6.
I was lower, 8 at one point, and my batting was just deteriorating, and I wasn't enjoying doing the job I was with the ball, just bowling a lot of overs for. I mean, I was doing a job for the team, but for my career, it wasn't going anywhere. So, and I was getting niggles from that. So that's where I wanted to move on and become more of a batter who still does a job for the team with the ball, but he's in there as a batter.
Okay. So this season you're coming in. You're saying you're going to do all the formats. You wanting to open, or has that not been decided?
Not been decided yet, but I'm happy to open. I'm happy to bat top order.
Yeah, and just bowl when required.
Bowl when required, yeah. You can bowl up to, not relying on my bowling. So there's certain days where I might have to bowl a few more overs, and I'm happy with it. But as long as I'm in there as a batter predominantly, and then I'm there as that option to bowl.
Well, after that last game against Derbyshire, I'd rather you bowl than the Colonel, because
his leggies, yeah.
That was something to. I think I looked at that stat today. Seven overs, 69 runs. 7 or 8 overs, 69 runs.
I think it was a dead game, so he just.
You're trying to force a result.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Okay. So I'm going to swing back onto Facebook. See if I can find. Oh, I got this up as well, just because I know it entices a load of people. So this was Matt Pryor's comments. If anyone doesn't know who's listening, he said, "I think there are too many players earning their salaries, whatever they may be, floating around in county cricket, having a nice life, with actually very little ambition to push on." Now, I know for a fact that you have massive ambitions to play for England.
Yeah.
So how much did that anger you? Because it certainly angered Peter Trago when he was talking about it.
It didn't anger me at all.
No?
I actually agree with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an opinion, and there's nothing wrong with people.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's nothing wrong with people if they want to enjoy their county life and not have an ambition. And there's certain players out there, I can guarantee you, who are like that, 100%. So actually, I'm probably with Matt Pryor there. Doesn't mean to say the guys who have played a county career haven't had the ambitions. So either way, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what they choose. It's just not what I would choose. I have ambitions to play the next level. Yeah. But it can get in a cushion sort of life at times if you let it. You can always do the littlest you can and get away with it. And I'm actually with Matt Pryor. Okay. Yeah. That's I've not heard that either. Yeah, I agree with him. Oh, cool. See, for my personal opinion, I just think he was a fella wanting to get a word out and make himself a little bit relevant. Probably. He's probably like that. I don't know. Pundits do that a lot. Have you never met him? Played against him. I mean, I don't know him, but obviously I've heard things. But yeah, I don't know. Okay. So nice segue onto the England ambition. So Nasser Hussain, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, sings your praises all the time. Whenever England play T20s and bowlers are getting hit everywhere just from bowling length balls or bounces and stuff like that, he always seems to talk about you. That's I don't know if you ever see the England stuff. Yeah, he says he should be bowling about. Well, he says stuff like he uses you and AJ in the same sort of breath. So he'll say you need to bowl like Gloucestershire, Benny Howell, AJ told the knocker ball, the slower ball bounces, that sort of stuff. So obviously, a former England captain seems to think that you've got the means to make it into the England side. Why do you think you're not even getting a look in at the moment? I think the reason probably because they're putting me in a bracket of all-rounders, and if you're putting me in that bracket, I'm not up there with the best all-rounders, bowling and batting. But if they were to look at me as just a bowler, I'm also not a fast bowler who can probably bowl, take wickets up top, bowl death. So then they don't really look at me as a spinner, which is where they're missing a trick, I think, in the T20 format. I think they can play me as that spinner, as that role in the middle, and still can bowl and over at the death if I need be, because I can do it. But yeah, I think the sort of, if they were to look at that way, then maybe things will be different. So yeah, I think that's the reason. Okay. And has that been discussed with you? Anyone from England? Yeah, not directly, but through like manager and talks with the coach and stuff. I think they said something about my slow balls not being enough, like of a pace difference to my normal faster ball. Okay. Which I don't agree with that at all. No, I definitely think your slower ball is. But then if you trim. So what's your fastest delivery? What's the fastest you can bowl? Between 75 and 78, probably. Not fast, but. It doesn't need to be in T20 though, especially in England. It's not. You wouldn't say that to a spinner, would you? It's all about the drift, the variation, the tiny bit of spin, right? So, if you looked at it in that regards, then it's about the movement of the slow balls and what. At the end of the day, if you're doing the job, you're doing the job. You get your stats. Yeah, so, like you can, like I said earlier, like astonishing stats with your economy as well. So I remember you getting 2 for 8 or 4 overs, this year, last season. Well, it's frustrating, but. I can't sit and be frustrated. So at the minute, I'm actually trying to work on getting a little bit quicker. Okay, so how are we doing that? A lot of work. I think you heard of Stephen Jones. I've not heard. He used to play county cricket for Somerset actually in Derby, and he's all about teaching bowlers to bowl fast through his methods, and a really really interesting methods. So I'm sort of going through that route, and he's been brilliant.
Noticing a difference?
I think so. There's a little bit of difference. We'll soon find out, but it's not going to increase me by 6-7 miles an hour. It's going to, between 3 and 5 miles an hour, hopefully. But at the same time, obviously, my batting, if I'm in that all-rounder bracket, if I can start really smashing it with the bat as well, then I'm in the frame as well. So I guess we'll see with that.
Okay. So what's it? Your nickname made me giggle today.
My nickname?
Well, so Wikipedia's got this thing. It says so you've either got Howler or Growler.
Yeah. It's
Where did Growler come from?
Very simple and actually not that interesting. It's because it rhymes with howler. So they thought it'd be funny to call me Growler.
That's
it. And another one was Trowel as well.
Trowel.
Just thought it'd be funny.
Avid gardener.
No reason, yeah.
bit of a botanical mind.
People called me Novak last few years. Novak Djokovic. Sometimes I
don't see it.
No,
especially
not
with this new blonde streak in your hair.
Just trying it out.
Yeah, like it?
Nah, we'll see. I'm warming to it. After I have a haircut,
there's got to be a new nickname with that, isn't there?
Yeah, it could be.
Greek Lightning.
Yeah, no, we'll see how it goes. I might have to. I might change my styles for T20. See what happens.
We need to get your chant going. We haven't got a song for you yet.
No.
No, we got one for Kieran that we did last year.
Barney Army.
The Barney Army.
Yeah, that's good.
To
think of one.
Yeah, we should do that. I'm gonna take it to the committee.
Okay.
And we're gonna talk about getting yours.
I'll be listening out for it.
So we talked about your batting. We talked about your bowling.
Yeah.
How important? Obviously, it's one of the 3 main disciplines, but how important is the Gloss's sort of influence on fielding? Like, is fielding a massive part of what you do, or is it because obviously batting's been a bit of an issue for the past couple of years that it's come something a bit left? But I've always said people never drop them, man. People never drop them with Gloss. But is that what I'm trying to get at? Is there, in your sort of week, obviously been training today, is it a massive influence on fielding drills, or do you do mostly batting or mostly bowling coaching?
So today, we actually did a bit of fielding today. It wasn't much, just getting our arms going. It's quite hard to do fielding indoors. It's very different to doing it in the indoor sports hall to going outside. So until the weather warms up, you can't really do too much fielding. But when we do, we like a short and sharp, high intensity when we do our fielding. But at the minute, it's been a lot of focus on, a lot of strength and conditioning at the minute.
Spend a lot of time in the gym and stuff.
Well, yeah, especially for the bowlers more so. I mean, the batters do it, but they probably don't need to do it as much as the bowlers. That's very important. So yeah, that and we've been competitive nets and the marquees up now on the ground. So
yeah, I saw that.
A lot of skills going on at the minute. Yeah.
The last time I saw it was covered in a blanket of snow.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
To which the Gloss Twitter page said, what should we do, bat or bowl? I was like, I don't know.
It's funny, yeah. No, I mean, it's been amazing how we've been managed to... I mean, the groundsmen have been working their asses off, to be honest, and it's been brilliant, especially with the snow and the rain. It's bits dripping through the tent sometimes, but we managed to get...
They did a stunning job last year,
yeah,
especially with the extra fixtures that they had.
They've got some good guys there, yeah, they really are working hard, so we're happy with them.
So, did you watch any of the Women's World Cup last year?
A little bit.
Little bit?
Little bit.
What, at the ground? Cause obviously
no, not the ground.
No.
TV. Just it was on TV occasionally. Had a little bit. Yeah.
So that's brilliant, isn't it? How they've sort of come along.
I watched. I did see. So the final I did see,
Yeah.
and I was very amazed by the amount of people were there, and it's so good for the game.
Sellout was it? Or
I think it was
near enough.
Yeah, it was amazing.
The
it's
sound
great for
of
the game
was
in general.
Crazy, like that.
I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
When Anya took that last wicket, there's just the roar.
Yeah, it's the way it was won as well. No, I was
Yeah.
very happy for them. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, it's on the up. I think it helps cricket as a whole as well as the women's game, but also the cricket as a whole.
It was nice that they played. That they were so happy to be playing their games in Bristol as well, because they said that they've had a great support in Bristol.
That's good.
Great support in Bristol. That they love the ground. They said the ground was perfect for what they wanted to do. So, do you enjoy playing your matches at Bristol?
I do.
Or you were more of a Cheltenham man?
I love Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Nah, actually, to be honest, I do prefer Cheltenham because of the festival, but only because it's a great festival. But in terms of playing at home at Bristol when there's a good crowd, and I do love playing there. I love playing at home. Yeah, it feels nice.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so different. Like
You enjoy it.
I enjoy Cheltenham as well. But for like a different, it's like more of a day out. Whereas
it's great for 4-day cricket, Cheltenham, I think.
Definitely. I suppose because you've got a lot of the demographic in Cheltenham is slightly older than say Bristol, and the cider army that tend to come in and,
no, it's
and
good.
drink the place dry every time Somerset come to town. Is there who's the in terms of T20? Let's stick on T20. Who have you relished a chance to bowl at the most? Was there any sort of particular batsman you've gone, I'm going to have him? Or is that everyone? Everyone you look at say, I don't know. Get this fella
Is that, or I just don't want to bowl at him because I don't want to get hit. Maybe the guy nurdles and nudges it. I like to bowl at.
Sid was talking about that game at Cheltenham against Middlesex when you had
Brandon McCullum,
Owen Morgan played.
Yeah, I love the chance to bowl at Owen Morgan, so I can show him what I do.
That would be that's your way in.
I like playing I like bowling at batsmen who are very who move a lot. Like to bowl at Chris Gale would be quite tough because he stands and delivers, and it seems like he has an entire the whole lifetime to wait for the ball to come down. So
and a bat the size of an oak
I wouldn't
tree.
like to bowl at him, but if you get him out, great. I did bowl at him once; it went alright.
Did you?
Yeah, in the T20 he played against us. I don't think he didn't get me, so that was nice. But I didn't get him out.
Kieran
got him out with his little, I think, split finger. He got him out with.
And he hit it straight up in the air, didn't it? I remember that. Oh, such a good game. I don't remember much of that game, I must say. I remember
actually taking a catch off my bowling off Mahela Jayawardena, and then he's our coach at Corner Titans, so I told him about it.
And what did he say?
He's just laughing. He's a good guy. Yeah.
I said this in the last one with Sid as well, when it was sort of when he was getting peppered on the outfield with these beer holders.
Yeah.
And he went to the umpire and was like, tell him to stop and stuff like that. It was quite funny from the outside, but I suspect you were all getting quite annoyed with the rubbish being thrown onto the pitch.
I can't remember that. There was a bit of rubbish. I didn't bother me. No.
So you just want to let the crowd do their thing.
Well, I mean, if the rubbish is on the pitch and the ball's coming down, that's you got to have respect for that. But
yeah, of course.
I wouldn't suggest throwing lots of rubbish on the pitch, but
he's bowled after it hits a cup, hits a cup on the way down.
No, exactly. So
the cup spot.
I'm happy with chucking things that aren't dangerous in the air for a bit of fun. I wouldn't suggest throwing them on the pitch.
It's just a beer. It was these beer holder things. They had like
the
4 holes in
boxes.
it.
They're chucking them.
And then it was like there was a Mexican wave, and after the Mexican wave, everyone realised that these things made really good frisbees.
And so they're throwing.
So, I remember the whole of the outfield peppered in them.
Health and safety wouldn't have been happy with that.
No, because it's all like cardboard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was good. That was when they had the temporary stand-up.
Yeah.
I talk about that a lot when I get with cricketers, because it was just it was the best game of cricket I think I've ever watched up there. That or when Paul Collingwood bowled some absolute dross and got taken off the bowling. That's a good moment. Good. Which that was it. Mark Wood ended up getting. There were some fellas over our side who were getting quite verbal with Mark Wood, and then as soon as he won the game for them, he ran straight over. I remember, and I was like putting his hand up to his ear like a.
The quarter-final.
That was it.
Yeah, I was just annoyed at that game.
Yeah. I remember that one for that reason, and how annoyed Jack Taylor looked with his brother at the end there. It was like he chucked his bat down, and then...
I don't think it was at his brother. I think it was at the whole thing. I think just the fact that we lost and we got close and we mucked it up.
Yeah, how was that? That must have been devastating, man.
It was
because I felt really devastated.
Well, we were on top of the whole group, points in both groups, and we had the highest points, and we came in the game, and they just batted well. I think they just came at us. It took us sort of bit by surprise.
I remember after that game, I ended up going up to a certain club, which will remain nameless due to ongoing circumstances surrounding that and another cricketer.
Right.
But it seemed like even though you guys had lost, Patrick Grieschuber was there, AJ was there, along with Chris Rushworth and Mark Wood, and they were all just. It was just another day at the office. Obviously you feel disappointed, but from that I got that. Even when you get the biggest lows, you just want to move on and sort of focus on the next one. Well,
it was the quarter-final, so it was going to stay with us a bit longer, and that was a big chance to get to finals day in.
I'd love to go to one. I'd love to go to one.
Yeah, we would too. So.
And what are you thinking in regards to this new big T20 franchise competition? What's going on with that?
Exciting, yeah.
Are you going to look to go to one of these franchises along with Gloss, or
everyone's going to look to go in the draft, because everyone gets in the draft.
All county cricketers.
I think it's They're suggesting it's not all confirmed. So
Okay. Yeah, this is what I'm just
it's
getting. If you know more than me.
15 per squad, 8 teams.
Yeah.
You know the teams, right?
Yeah,
they're out.
We didn't get one, which
No,
seems.
but it was never going to happen because we don't have a test ground. Cardiff.
But but
as much as I think we should, it wasn't going to happen.
The issue for me was how the Cardiff choice was made, because they've just. It seems very circumstantial in a way that they've just got rid of their test status for a payout from the ECB.
Yeah.
And they also get.
I think it was the size.
Franchise.
I think it's the size of the stadium, and they want to keep it in England and Wales Cricket Board. There's a ground in Wales. It's all of that, and we're just unfortunately next to that. So
we must have been quite close there, because the numbers we can pull for these games.
To be honest, I think they may think us we're close. I believe that it was always going to be those grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the size of the grounds, the way it was. 8 teams. It just.
Do you think the moment
they had it sorted, I reckon, a year.
Yeah, the moment they announced the tournament, they were like, "Okay,
I
we're
reckon.
do
I don't know.
Here.
That's what I believe.
So, would you go play for? Are you just going to go in for the draft for anyone?
You just go in for the draft for anyone. So.
Is there anywhere you'd rather go, or
or
do you want to stay more south of England?
I don't mind. I mean, it's 2 years off, but London would be nice.
Yeah.
Live in London for 6 weeks, but it's all going to be. I mean, if I went to Cardiff and it's nearby, it's not bad. If I went up to London, that'd be cool. I'm open.
How does it work with how you imagine it's going to work with your, because they're running obviously this alongside the pre-existing T20 comp. This is going to be a lot of extra workload for you.
They're doing it so it's late. I think later in the summer. So the T20 comp, the Blast, is going to be before that.
I should have preempted this.
No worries.
I'll get a couple of these out, don't worry. Cool. So the Blast is gonna.
The Blast will come before.
Yeah.
So I think what they're doing they're going to select the players in the draft in a January window to select the draft, and then they're going to do a second draft. I think there'll be like 2 players per side in the second draft after NatWest T20 Blast, right before this new tournament. So then it gives the players a chance to do well in the Blast, to get picked if they didn't get picked up in January, to get picked for the franchise then. So there's going to be 2 sort of one main draft and one like smaller draft just before the tournament. So then it does put emphasis in the T20 Blast in the Gloucestershire and Somerset and all that. It does put big emphasis on that as well.
So it's
people want to perform.
There's just 2 T20 competitions in the year alongside the One Day Cup, and then.
But I think the One Day Cup is alongside the franchise.
Oh really?
So then potentially the guys in T20 won't be able to play in the One.
Well, that could be good for other reasons as well. Gives other guys like chap who plays for my club, Milo. I think you played with him in a second game last year, Milo Ayres. Yeah. And you opened with him. So it could give chaps like him a chance to come up and play in those when that's run existing alongside this new comp.
It will. So I mean, I don't know how it's going to look because it's still 2 years off, but it will give more guys a chance for sure. So.
Are they planning for that now? Is that
no? Because it's not set in stone, so there's nothing Gloucestershire can do or anything yet until they know exactly what's going on. But these are all the sort of I've just had a word freeze there. Preliminary plans for what's going to happen in 2020, I think. In 2020, 2019, 2020.
2020.
2020, yeah. 2020 season, yeah.
2020 and 2020 playing 2020.
2020 season with the 2020 World Cup. So. I think it is.
There's loads going on.
Yeah.
There's loads going on.
That's what's probably going to happen, yeah.
So hopefully, Bo, you'll be an England team while all this is going
hopefully,
on.
yeah. This is a big season. Yeah.
Also with in regards to the T20 franchise here, do you think that'll give sort of more of the county cricketers more chance to show their stuff to the rest of the world's competitions? So like obviously you played in the Bangladesh Premier League, but you want to play in the Big Bash and the IPL and stuff like that as well. Do you think this will give
the franchise? Yeah,
the franchise will give more and allow more county cricketers to go and sign as overseas players as opposed to just England internationals.
I think with the television rights, they're going to get it. I think they're going to get free to air, so then it's going to be able to be viewed in all the different countries as well. Which I don't. Unfortunately, the T20 Blast it's not televised everywhere, and so that's not as followed as much as all the other comps. So it's going to be huge for a lot of county cricketers.
So I asked these questions to David last time, and I want to see if you corroborate with him in terms of the answers. So who would you say is the messiest person?
Chris Dent.
Sorry?
Chris Dent.
Chris Dent?
Yeah.
He said the same.
Yeah.
How bad is it that
Oh,
like
he's a-
you? That was a
he's-
neat. That was like split second reaction.
I'm
there
sure
to that
he was the
question.
same as well with his answer.
Yeah.
It's just everything.
Is it like so? You've all got your set spaces in your dressing room.
Yeah, his is he spreads and he leaves things everywhere. And he's a bit.
Does it irritate you? It irritates me
Nah,
when
I'm
my
used to
changing
it.
room. Get your
I
jock
find it
strap off
funny.
of my bloody
No,
clothes, man.
I don't know why I find it funny. No, I don't bother me. As long as it's not on my spot. Not on my spot, that's all right.
So where's your spot in regards to who are you sat next to in the changing room?
I'm sat next to Kieran.
Yep.
Here, and then Jack's at that wall there on my left. And Denty's just in my left eye over here, 4 or 5 spots.
Who's
on me.
next to him?
Tom Smith, and then Liam Norwell. That's their 4 there. And there's me, Kieran, now Ryan Higgins, and a 3 here.
Oh yeah, Ryan Higgins. We
Yeah.
talked about that
Yeah.
that Middlesex game. How's
Yeah.
he coming off? How's he looking?
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, he's good. Fits in well. He's excited for the year. He's real.
Is he going to be a main fixture in the team? Do you think?
I would
or-
have thought so. I mean, it depends
They
on how
would've bought
Dorse
him,
lines up the team, but I mean, especially white ball. I mean, 4-day he's working hard and he's looking good. So he'll be in the frame.
He
for
was
it.
big hitter in that Middlesex game at Cheltenham, wasn't
He's
he?
a good
All
player,
over the
yeah,
park.
and he works hard. So yeah, he's a good addition.
Great.
Really good addition.
Sorry, there was one more question that I got from Facebook, which I forgot about, but I better say. Where is it? So basically, it's saying, who do you see stepping up to play the Maxi and Marshall role as a senior player in the team? That was from Jim Harrison on Facebook.
Interesting question because we're not obviously that old.
Yeah, I was, Colonel brings your average age up by about sort of 10 years, doesn't he?
So I think it's quite hard to play a maxi role. I mean, I think he's just a gun, isn't he? I mean, can't always
gonna be
copy
sorely
anyone.
missed, man.
But if in terms of, you talking about 1-day stuff?
He doesn't mention, but I'd say probably in all formats.
I'd like to see Denty. I'd like to see Chris Dent with the experience. He's a serious talent, and he's so consistent in the 4-day stuff. And I'd like to see him do that in the 1-day stuff, which he did 2 years ago in the 50 over. He scored a couple hundreds.
That's right, yeah.
And I'd like to see him express
With
himself
Maxi at the top of the order,
Maxi,
wasn't he?
yeah. And I'd like to see him express himself in the T20s, which I think he can do. He just needs the freedom. So I think he's one of them for sure. I think we've got to have a new blend of sort of cricketers, really. There's a lot of all-rounders. There's me, Kieran, with the bat, with Ryan Higgins now.
Yeah.
A lot of sort of power sort of hitters, Jack Taylor. So we sort of blend a new role for the whole team in a sense. You're not necessarily going to have a Maxi or have this. It's all about finding out how we can actually win games and score big runs with the bat. And maybe it's just loading our lineup with full of batters and all-rounders and batting till 9 and especially in the 1-day and going hard.
Is that the way to be? Like pushing it all with all-rounders, do you think?
I think if your batters are good in the T20 and 50 over, I'm a big believer in all-rounders because... But as long as each all-rounder, each batter is given a proper role, and so then they go out and they know their role. So
like yourself is an opener who bowls a little bit.
Yeah, but the role in terms of how they approach their batting innings. So Maxi approaches is the same way, and we work around him, which is great. But if we can't have that, sort of player, which there would be a couple of guys who'd be like that. I think Graham Van Buren is a very good player.
He comes up here quite a lot.
He's a very good player, but he just needs... Again, I think he just needs to get back where he was when he was scoring hundreds. I think that's all mental, and he's just had a kid, so I think cricket that will help his cricket as well.
More focused.
More focused. I think you just don't because we all want to do really well, but sometimes you get too uptight about it, and then you don't perform at your best, which is certainly what we did in the 50 over comp. So, in terms of that, I think it's about role clarity and how you go about your batting, and I think we have definitely had the individuals to do that. It's just the mental approach.
Okay. So one last question. I asked the same to David. So everyone assesses their own success differently. So, for example, some people might say money is how they measure their own success, or family is how they measure their own success. Would you say that you like to measure your success? Tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I leave it till last.
Certainly not money. Money is great, bonus, but that's never ever been my intention with cricket. I want to play for England and I want to do well for England, but it's always stepping stones. So I think individual stepping stones. I think for me, as I got 2 sort of general goals for the season, I want to win a competition as a team or get promoted. But I think the more realistic is winning one day. But you never know with the promotion. So that's great, and you can work as a team because that's also good for your own game. And individually, I want to put in performances and be right up there with all those guys in the PCA top 10 rankings, so then I can get looked in and play for England. So that's my next step, and that's how I'd measure my success. So and then from there, I'd have new goals, and I'll measure my success like that because, that's how I would do it.
So with the England stuff, is it just? Would you love to get a test cap, or is that?
I mean, that's something down the line. I mean, that's a million miles away right now, so I'm not even thinking about that. Okay. Yes, I'm going to go and do my best in 4-day cricket, and I've been working hard at that. So who knows if I go and bang out 1,100 runs. You never know. Thanks very much for coming along, buddy. Thanks, really appreciate it. So I mentioned to David actually down the line I want to get a group of yous in, and then we'll just sort of like, I don't know, maybe back end after the T20s we'll sort of come in and have a big old chat, and I thought that would be quite fun. The guys would be keen. Yeah, they're always keen. Just ask. I do. You do? Well, sort of Sid is my sort of way in now. I've got my way, and I'd love to get Colonel in here to talk about England stuff. Yeah, I'm sure he will. Well, as long as you give him a pint, he'll be happy. He came on a hospitality day to Bristol City, get a Bristol City game with me. Oh, cool. He was meant to come and play golf with you, but then he copped off to come watch football with me. Is he Bristol? Are you Bristol City fan? Yeah, I am a Bristol City fan. I went to watch him 2 weeks ago. Did they 1-1 Fulham. Oh, man. It was alright. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I want to see him get promoted. I want to see it. Yeah, I'd love to see him in the Premier League. Yeah, do you support Everton? Football? Everton. My dad's from there. So I followed after him. Unfortunately, we're useless at the minute. But I'm not a Glory supporter. Fan of Big Sam? No, not really. No? I mean, I didn't mind him, but I don't know. The England stuff for me, he lost a lot of respect. I don't know. It just doesn't. He hasn't got something that I don't know what something that was there. I don't know. We just want to win games. We can't even do that. So. All right. I think we'll leave it on Everton as a bit of a bombshell. Yeah. Can't believe Everton, really. Thanks, Benny. Thank you very much. Cheers. Oh, what a great guy. Thanks so much to Benny for that chat. Had a really great time talking to him. A stand-up guy from start to finish. If you ever get a chance to sort of bump into him, meet him, he's very, very approachable. He was very insistent on taking a picture. Very much enjoyed that. Really hope to have him back. I mentioned to him about getting them all back later in the season with Sid as well and a few others, just to have a chat about how things are going on, probably after the T20s. I wanna just mention that obviously it's because the Bristol podcast is about lots of different things. Originally it was going to be a sports podcast, but I think there's so much going on in Bristol that I'd be wrong to sort of like keep it as a sports thing. Obviously we've had 2 podcasts here about cricket, and that's only because I've got connections with Gloss, so I'd like to get more of the different sports in Bristol. So if anyone has any contacts or anyone that they'd like to sort of just send my way, make sure you get in contact with me. Usually over Facebook is the best way. And hopefully we can then have some decent people. I'd love to get like people from all sorts of, art and movies or like music. I'd love to do that. I want this to be is a podcast for Bristol. And I love Bristol, I love what goes on here, and I want to be able to talk about it and share that with everyone, and hopefully help some other people out along the way. So that's it, that's the end of episode 2. Can't believe we did another one. Hopefully I'll have another one up for you soon. If we aim for the month, I think a month is a fair wait between each podcast, so I'd like to just do that. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.